Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Farida. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the negative sides of personal development and personal growth. A lot of times we think that personal growth is only good things, and I'm looking down because I have my notes down here. But a lot of times we always attribute like only good things to personal growth. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about the negative sides of personal growth that could really hit you if you're not prepared, and can make you lose all the growth that you've already acquired and worked so hard for. So a lot of the times when you're on your personal growth journey, it's really easy to kind of forget about your achievements and only see what is to come. And most of the time when you think about only what you're looking forward to, and you forget about what you've already accomplished, and sometimes you've accomplished so many amazing great things, but when you forget about what you've accomplished and you only think about, oh my gosh, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to do this, I want to do this, you kind of lose sight of what you have, and that can make you feel overwhelmed because you only see things you don't have, instead of realizing your achievements and kind of celebrating them in the moment. So for me, one thing that I think I've incorporated in my personal development journey is kind of realizing the things that I've accomplished, my accomplishments, and the things that I can really celebrate in that moment, and kind of be happy with those, and then achieve for like more. Because when I was only thinking about more, I forget about what I have, and it makes me feel overwhelmed. It makes me feel like I'm not able to get what I want in that moment, and so I lose sight, and it creates a lot of pressure, and it creates a feeling of being overwhelmed. So I made a video about the different things that you could do to help you in your personal development and personal growth journey. You can check that video out. I'll put a link in the description or somewhere. But thinking about that, I want to talk about the comparison trap, because in that video, in one of the videos that I've made about leveling up and how to level up in 2024, you get that advice of finding a persona that you strive to be, right? Finding that ideal person for you, finding that one person that you really like can find motivation from their achievements, and try to amplify that energy so that you also could see different changes in your life that you wish for. So having that idea in the back of your head, it's really easy to fall into the comparison trap. It's so easy to kind of compare yourself to someone else and their achievements, because you're trying to get motivated from that. So I think that really understanding that being motivated and being motivated and happy and succeeding in selecting different achievements from someone else's journey and trying to make that motivate you, or trying to get motivation from that, is different than kind of falling into the trap of comparing yourself to that person. It's so easy to want to be motivated by someone's journey that you might start comparing yourself to that person to a point where you don't see your achievements, you don't see where you're at right now, and so much that you've achieved right now that you start comparing yourself to someone else's achievement. For me, I think I've never been the type to really kind of be jealous of someone's achievements. I've always been happy, and I think this is something that I'm really grateful for. And I'm blessed to be able to kind of not be jealous of someone else's achievements. But I think it's so easy to kind of forget about where you are at right now, and just think about what someone else has and where someone else is in their journey, and trying to think that that should also reflect where you're at. Someone else's 5-year into personal development or personal growth is so different than your first year in personal development, personal growth, or your 5th year in personal growth and personal development, right? So realizing that someone else's journey is going to be so different than yours, but that doesn't make yours any less of a journey, but it just shows that you have your own journey and you have your own strengths is really important. So not comparing yourself to other people is really important, and realizing that other people have their journey aside, and you could also have your journey, and it's completely fine. And sometimes one step in somebody's life is going to be so difficult for them, and it's going to take them a lot of time to get past that or to challenge themselves to move forward, whereas for you it's going to be less time, and it could be the other way around too. So everyone has their challenges that's going to be hard for them. Realizing that what might be hard for you and what might be keeping you back, and what might be taking a lot of time for you to get through, is going to be different at different stages of your life. And not comparing yourself and falling into that comparison trap is really important. So I would say, I think the biggest thing that always helps me get through this, or like not fall into the trap of comparing myself to someone else. So if I'm struggling with Surah Al-Fatih and I see someone in Surah Al-Masad, I'm not going to be jealous of that person, because I've had an experience in my life. This is a true experience in my life when I started learning about Quran, where someone was like 3 chapters in, and I was just on chapter 4. I was on the first chapter, and someone was in chapter 4, and they stayed in chapter 4 until I reached chapter 2. So when I started, I was kind of envious of where they are, in a healthy way, because I wanted to be in that spot myself too, right? So I was kind of envious of where they are in their journey, and I wanted to be there too. I wanted to like outpass them and grow. You know how competitive it could be with learning Quran, right? So then what I've seen was that I was able to like go from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 2, and they were still in their chapters. So from that experience, I've learned that, okay, I'm in this chapter right now, but someone else's chapter could be a lot harder for them, that I'm gonna be able to like go through my different chapters and reach where I want to go without that person even moving sometimes. Or maybe that person could be growing so much and reach a chapter that's going to be really hard for them, and I'll be able to catch up, or I'll be able to surpass them. So that's how I sometimes think of it, in a healthy way, so that I'm not jealous of that person, because I feel that, of course, you know, they're where they are right now, but I could be there too. Everyone is on their own pace, right? It doesn't mean that I'm just going to keep flying by chapters, right? I've also reached my chapters where I spent like months, right? You reach a certain place in your life where you stop envying someone's chapter. You stop kind of comparing yourself to someone else's chapter, but you can still take motivation from that person's chapter. You could still get encouraged. You could still see the efforts that they put in, and you could still see that it's possible, but it doesn't mean that you have to be at that same level with that person. So I think you get the idea of not falling into that comparison trap, because you could really lose sight of where you want to be in your goals, and it could really be a negative side of self-development and personal growth. So let's get into the next thing that could be negative as well. Another thing is the fear of failure. A lot of times people are so afraid that they don't even take the moves necessary to go to the next step in their journey. So for personal growth, I would say stop fearing. For me, I stopped fearing failure. I stopped fearing the idea that I'm not going to be where I want to be. I stopped fearing that I'm going to fail, because it's so paralyzing. Like when you fear, let me set up. I feel like my scarf want to leave me, but I'm not going to touch it. But when you feel that, you know, you're so scared of confronting like a journey or confronting something that you really want, to the point where you realize that you're not even taking any steps, is paralyzing. It's the negative side of personal growth that a lot of people don't talk about. You start growing so much, and you start learning so much, and you start getting so much in your life that you're afraid to lose it all, or you're afraid to fail, and that really paralyzes you. Like for me, I think one example is, for instance, with school. Like you're doing so good in school that you're so scared of failing. It's one of my phenomena. I'm still in school, so that's why I have like relatable things with school. So one of the things, by the way, I'm a lifelong learner, which means that even after so many degrees or diplomas, I'm still gonna go to school because I love learning. But one of the other things that I would say is really not being afraid of taking a step forward. don't be so comfortable where you are because you don't want to take that next step, because you don't want to fail. So make sure that you are really optimizing all of the opportunities that comes your way, and you're not so scared to take chances, because that's going to hinder your growth a lot. One of the most important things about personal growth, I would say, is being in the moment and realizing that one of the negative things could be that it's going to strain your relationships. You're going to lose relationships. And this is one of the really sad parts of personal growth. And I think that it shouldn't be that way. So a lot of times when we get caught up in personal growth and trying to grow our best selves, we tend to forget the people that we started the journey with, or the people that's been with us for a really long time. So I think it's really important realizing that, it's important to devote yourself into your personal growth, devote yourself into your personal development, but also realizing that, relationships are important. So when you embark on your personal growth journey, it's possible that you grow so much that you become a different person. That's the whole point of personal development and personal growth. You grow and you evolve, and not everybody is on the same journey with you. So when you look back and you see that you have friendships, you're going to look back. If you're doing your personal development right and everything's going well, you're going to look back and you're going to see that you've left your friends behind, or that some friends are not where you're at, or that some family members are not where you're at, or some family relatives are not where you're at, or can't identify you anymore. And that's okay, but it doesn't mean cutting off relationships. A lot of times I think that we get this negative information from social media itself, advising us to cut people out of our lives, or if they're not willing to grow with you, cut them off. Everyone's growth journey is different. Everyone's success journey is different. So realizing that and not penalizing people and just working with people where they're at is really important, because you could be motivating for that person if you stay in their lives. But if you go, then it just leaves a negative image of personal growth, because for that person, then personal growth is going to be like, oh, if this person advances in life, they're just going to leave, or they're just going to have a negative relationship with people, and they might not want to have negative relationships with people. So you might not be motivating for that person. If you kind of want to be motivating, I think it's good to be motivating to individuals in life. So that's a point. But really understanding that it could be hard on your relationships. So being prepared to know that you might lose some relationships due to your growth is also important. It's so easy to get obsessed and kind of forget about our mental health and our physical being and our well-being in general. It's so easy to get obsessed with kind of wanting to be better, and forgetting and neglecting some aspects of our lives that it could be negative in the long run. So just remember that personal growth is a journey, and learn to enjoy that journey. Learn to kind of savor that journey instead of trying to just get to the end result, because sometimes if you don't savor the journey, when you get to the end result, you're going to ask yourself who you are, and you're not gonna like the fact that you missed out on so many different experiences of your life. Realizing and understanding that the process, for me at least, the process of personal growth is the actual thing, like the process, not the end result, because you don't want to kind of live life where you're just looking forward to that end result, and once you get there, it might be too late to actually enjoy it. So enjoy every little moment, and try not to have your ambitions kind of hinder your ability to get to where you want to get to. I hope that last point makes a lot of sense, even though it's a lot to get to wrap your head around. A lot of times people talk about the importance of personal growth, how to grow, how to develop yourself, but they forget all these negative things that you really need to be aware of if you want to have lasting personal growth, and if you want your personal growth journey to impact you in a positive way. So if this video has been of any value to you, please go ahead and subscribe, like this video for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.